Alrighty, welcome back, Super Benny here. Today we're talking about some old memories about sort of video games from the 90s. So 90s memories. One of the first ones that's pretty cool is the Sega bus that came around in the 1990s. Was hugely popular to kind of push like Mario versus Sonic back in the day. Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 just came out, and they were really trying to push towards all the kids and stuff. So they'd send around this huge bus, like a double decker bus, and on the seats, in sort of rows, they'd have like Mega Drives in there, with games and competitions and merch you could win. Yeah, so me and my brothers actually went to the Sega Bus event, and we actually won and became the champions of the Sega Bus. It was due to a fact of my brother being sneaky as always, as they always are. My two older brothers, and we won absolute ton of merch. The way he did it, he entered into the debug mode, and the competition was to get through the level the fastest, to have the most points and that kind of stuff. So he entered into debug mode, turned himself into like a little block, flew through the whole level, and yeah, he ended up winning so much merch. And yeah, we came away with a lot of Sonic goods and Sonic t-shirts for many, many years. I probably might even have some of those photos dotted around somewhere. Yeah, so yeah, that was good times back in the day. They were always checking like Games Master and different bits and bobs. They were obsessed with the SNES, and I was really obsessed with the Mega Drive. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. There is another website. There is another YouTuber who covers the Sega bus like in full. There's like a really good 30 minutes like talk about it. But yeah, we absolutely stormed the ones close to home in Manchester. But yeah, that is a good video to go and check out as well. The second part to this old school sort of memories, we used to have like Ataris. We used to have Commodore 64. Yeah, loads of like really old sort of games, like consoles. My brother was super obsessed about all the different sort of consoles. I think he even had like a Saturn, we had Game Gears, all sorts. But this story is about the Commodore 64 way back in the day. Bit of a weird console anyway, because it was basically like a PC, but you had to load up your games through cassette, which sometimes would take about half an hour, really long time, especially if you're a kid waiting around hoping it loads. My brother, we had loads of games. We had like PJ Elephant, Postman Pat, we had Short Circuit on there, Space Harrier, Outrun, Lotus, Police Chase HQ was really good on there. But yeah, my brother was playing one night. He was playing like a racing game, and we're talking early 90s here. And the Commodore 64 had like a cassette player, the huge keyboard, everything. But it actually came with a huge, massive power pack. Now, these were the days before like saving games and whatever. So you just press spacebar, turned off the screen, hoping like, oh, mum doesn't see or whatever, and we went to bed. And he could wake up the next morning and continue playing how far he got on these games, so he could just jump straight on it next day without having to load up, and he could probably do it before school or whatever. And yeah, he left it on overnight, and these being like huge sort of power packs and stuff, it just started melting. It got so absolutely hot. If you go check out the Commodore 64 power pack, there is like a little picture in the thumbnail. It's just encased in plastic, so it's really sort of bad design for like a power unit, and it's like plugged in as well. So that just completely melted, went like completely melted the carpet too, almost set the house on fire. If it wasn't for my mum checking in on us, seeing if we're all asleep and what's going on, and yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse. Could have almost died by the Commodore 64. So yeah, that's always a story I always bring up and laugh at my brother about. Yeah, close call with the video games back in the day. Yeah, and another one, we're talking about Sega, we're talking about the old consoles. We were obsessed with getting anything and everything that sort of video games and trying to get hold of merch and bits and bobs. But back in the day, everything was sort of like collections. You had stuff in your cereal. They were giving away stuff in McDonald's. There's always the 90s branding was really, really strong. So even in like petrol stations, when you used to pull up in the petrol stations, I think it was Esso, they did like little tankers, and you kept hold of little cards, and even in crisps they were giving away pogs and all sorts of mad stuff, £5 and weird stuff. So yeah, this one was in the actual Shell petrol stations, and every time we saw a Shell, we'd shout Shell in the back of the car on the way to our weekend travels. So every time we'd see a Shell petrol station on the way up to the Lake District and what have you, to spend the weekend at the caravan, we would point out, say, oh, Shell, get my dad to try and stop there. There's not much I've recently seen back on online, but I do remember us having absolutely ton of posters of Mario and that kind of stuff that we kind of just traded in between sort of friends and bits and bobs. I think the main sort of game for that back in the day was Mario 3 they were giving away posters for, and it was Mario and Yoshi, I think, maybe the NES, Nintendo, yeah, it must have been the NES or something like that. Yeah, huge little yellow posters like that. Yeah, loads of just random sort of promo posters, so they were pretty rare back in the day. Yeah, something that you just wouldn't normally come across these days, but yeah, just random sort of things they were giving away. So yeah, there's some gaming memories from the 90s. The Power Pack is always my most memorable. But yeah, if you like this kind of series, I can always do some more bits and bobs and thoughts of how gaming was back in the day and some more random stories. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please like, please subscribe, and yeah, there's lots more fantastic videos on the channel.